Very brilliant. All right, let's move to our final conversation. Let's take a trip to Rivers State, shall we? The political situation in Rivers State, South Nigeria, is becoming messier and nastier. Confliction judgments delivered by judges over vexed issues in the state are aggravating the tension. As such, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, has summoned judges involved in conflicting rulings on political cases in the state. A panel of the National Judicial Council, NJC, will probe the judges, just as the CJN ordered that the reports be submitted this week. The panel will be headed by a former Court of Appeal Justice. The CJN has also summoned the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court for questioning after formal complaints were filed with the council. Now, Mayor, the CJN summoning multiple judges, for questioning following this issue of conflicting and contradicting court orders. What should we expect?
Let me start by saying that what is happening in Rivers State is an embarrassment. Politicians, judiciary has allowed politicians to mess them up. Okay. And what they're just doing is that each party are just shopping for judgments. Everybody going to different courts to get the same kind of relief. So that we will not have a problem where somebody will say that, oh, these people should not be in the house. Another court will say, oh, this is a faction that is recognized. And judgments, which is an embarrassment actually. And then, but the most important thing is that even some people, that every state has federal high courts. Instead of some of the parties to take their cases to federal high court in their state, they will take it to federal court in Abuja. Who has no business getting involved in the first place?
The issue of jurisdiction.
Yes,
exactly.
who has no business getting involved in the first place? And they've just messed everything up and embarrassed the judiciary. So I'm so happy that this CJN have tried to clear the mess that we have on ground now. And I think she'll be able to do that. Some of these judges, I don't have proof, could have been induced to be given all this judgment that they give. So any judge that has no business listening to or giving a false relief should be disciplined. Should be disciplined. It is important for the CJN to send a message that the era of shopping for judgment is over. It's over. Because that's what politicians, that's what they do. And it's so prevalent in Rivers because the two factions go to different courts seeking different reliefs to suit their purpose. So in other words, you will see a judge of competent jurisdiction giving an order. Another court will give another order that is contrary to what has been given. So it's just an embarrassment. And everybody will claim that they are on the right path because they have a judgment. Exactly. To that effect. For example, they have two factions in the House of Assembly. There are different judgments that both of them can rely on to be able to do what they are doing. So the CJN, what the CJN has done is very nice. But apart from the fact that she wants to try to clear the mess, judges that have been found to have done what is beneath their position or oath of office should be disciplined. Should be disciplined.
Still talking about discipline, the CJN Justice Kekereekun, on her inauguration, if you remember, she said that she was going to discipline erring, talk about the issue of indiscipline. But if we're to look at it, do you think the CJN can surprise most Nigerians on this matter?
Let me put it this way. To start with, I feel personally embarrassed as an editor when you bring a story from some politicians or politicians making statements and saying that this judge is going to be bribed. They are even anticipating what is going to happen. And I'm like, I can't use this kind of story. That is desecrating the temple of justice in its first place. But their argument is we have enough facts to tell you that this is what is going to happen. As much as that is subjudice, that is something that we should not preempt the court. But time and time again, we've been proven wrong. Okay. That the kind of respect some of us have given to them has dwindled greatly. However, we should look at it from, I don't know whether I should clap my hands for CJN.
Okay.
Because I've also seen former CJNs also summon some judges who are caught in this kind of thing.
So this is not the first time.
So if mayor is asking for discipline, I don't know whether we should be very specific. What kind of discipline? Should they be derobed? Should they be barred from the bar? I mean, from the bench? What is the level of deterrence that we should be proposing?
Okay.
Otherwise, somebody might say, after all, if they suspend me for 1 year.
No, not suspension. If you find to have
exactly.
Contravene your oath of office, you are supposed to be sent out of the bench.
Beautiful.
That's what you are supposed to do.
They've
done that severally before in the past. So it's just that it's not a common thing, but they've done that. A lot of judges have been sent out of the been derobed because they were found to have put their hands in certain things that they shouldn't have done. So what the CJN is saying is that I want a report about why should these people do that. Exactly. Then there are some judges that have no business getting involved in that. For example, a federal judge in Abuja giving judgments and reliefs to people for a state that you have taken to a federal high court in Rivers. Everybody knows that that cannot be right.
Now, let's also look at, still talking about the issue of conflict, let's talk solutions now. Is it possible for us to have like a central database whereby judgments are filed there to avoid some sort of similar judgments? Is it possible?
No. That cannot change anything, because there are records, there are court records that you can assess any judgment that was
very easy.
So it's easy to do that. The only difference in this one is that if court A gives a judgment seeking, if I go to a court now, if I'm shopping for judgment, and I go to a court and I seek and I ask for a relief, and the court grant that relief to say that, oh, this faction of the House of Assembly is the one recognized, then the other party will go to another court and go and seek a relief there, and the court will say, no, these people, they have not been removed properly. So in the face of the law, they are still members of that assembly. So those are the kind of problems that we have. There is no way you can stop that one, because you cannot stop a judge who wants to do something that is illegal to do that. But what you can do as a CJ is to show courage to say, look, a new policeman is in town. I'm not going to accept this, because there's a procedure.
Yes.
If any judge is found to have done something he shouldn't have done or found wanting, the NJC, they will take this case to the NJC. It's just that the problem is that prior to this time, they don't take enough of these cases to the NJC.
Don't report it.
And then we don't really, NJC do not, only 1 or 2 judges that have been fined, but in most cases, they just allow it to slide.
Now, the question of independence of the judiciary now comes to mind. How can we have some sort of transparency and restoration of the judiciary without having judicial independence? Because it looks as if there is politics here, the politicians are just putting their hands. How can we have independence?
So that it doesn't look like an academic exercise. These are people who are part of the system. So when we are dealing with the system, we need to be very clear that the sanctity, the integrity has no other duplicity. If we must sustain the sanctity of the temple of justice, people should look beyond sentiments. And that's why we put that stuff, on the faces that justice is blind to any form of sentiment. It is not about who is involved. It's about what is right and what is wrong. That's what the judiciary stands for. I agree that, okay, there's separation of power and the rest, but the justice probably is a husband of someone who has a case in someone. You understand? So we cannot detach them, but they should be subject to the ethics of their profession. Just like in this job, when we have to say the truth, we have to damn the consequence and stay on the path of truth. So that's what is expected. For every profession, there are code of conduct, there are professional ethics that are demanded of them. So, and we rate them very high. I'm talking about our judges and our justices. So this must be upheld.
Because when a governor can tell a state high court, a state high court, oh yeah, I want this thing. Will the state high court judge say no?
He can say no.
He can say no. He can say no.
And talking about independence, like
The
you
independence
mentioned,
of the
talk about the independence. There's, of course, independence for the judiciary. The only problem they have is that they don't have financial independence.
The financial independence.
That is the problem. So the judiciary is still dependent on the executive to do a lot of things. If they can have their own funds on first line charge, like the National Assembly,
yes,
and the CJN controls the budget of the judiciary.
Simple.
Not the one that they will just send to them, but the entire money that they need, they won't need the executive. Because the problem now is that they are still beholden to the executive. Though there's an improvement, one of the things you have to give President Bola Tinubu, we did that in Lagos too, is that he has increased the salary of judges by, I think, 300%. Now,
yes,
they've increased their salary by 300%.
Yes. And the
Wiki has started building houses for them. That's the same thing they did in Lagos. In Lagos, you know, apart from building, they were building houses for judges, giving them official cars, and increase their salary. The only way our judges can be independent is if they are financially independent. If they don't need, they are not so poor that bribe will be attractive to them. If you pay them well and you isolate them from the society, they have a good home and they live well, then it will not be easy
for them
for politicians to manipulate them. But not because there are some good judges who, no matter the circumstance, they are not going to compromise.
They are not going to.
They have the reputation.
But we are pressed for time.
There are some people, there are some people that will, of course, there are some judges, they will know that.
But my final question will now be, who should we now blame for this issue of conflicting court judgments? Is it the politicians? Is it the lawyers?
No, it's the judges.
The judges, not the politicians.
No! If a politician comes to you, for you to do something that is wrong,
you have a right
that
to
is
say
against
yes or
your
no.
conscience, for you to be a judge that is worth your salt, you should be able to say no. If you pander to a politician and you collect money, you are not worthy to be a judge.
What about the lawyers who bring the cases before them?
It doesn't matter.
They should not be blamed.
No. The lawyers, they are doing their job.
They are doing their job.
Yes, if I have a case, I can go to court and try to play on technicalities. It is within the purview of lawyers.
Well, let me put it this way. I don't know whether you're a football fan.
Yeah, I am.
It's like a player deciding to carry the ball in his hand and decide to throw it inside the net. The referee should say this is foul.
Yes.
And you're given a red card.
Yes.
So it's not a matter of, they are converting the system. And quickly on what you just said.
Yes.
The way out is just to, and I just want to quickly buttress the point he made, is the fact that even if they are given 500% increase, it is not a favor. It is for them to do their job without being influenced. Do you understand what I'm saying? As much as we will give all the kudos to executive arm, it's for them to understand that the way out is still this first line charge. Let them have that financial autonomy. When they have it, they decide what is okay. Because they are humans and they can easily pander towards those who are in power. All
right, thank you.
And another thing is, if those who are in power wins a judgment, it does not mean it is one-sided. It can go either way.
That's justice. Either way. Anyway, thank you so much, gentlemen. Mayor Kimpali, thank you very much for having this conversation. And also, Kaidi Ladende, appreciate you as always.
Thank you so much.
Very much. And I want to say a big thank you to the gentlemen, the PCR and the MCR, for pressing the buttons accordingly for us to have a beautiful show. And that's it on Journalist Hangouts today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. And join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangouts on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.